In this segment, I'm going to talk about sanitizing and cleaning. So in most kitchens that we have multiple colored buckets. We usually have some linens, and we have some soap, and we have some sanitizer. In this case, we're going to be talking about a bleach sanitizer and how we use that in our kitchens. You can also use quat or iodine sanitizers, which most of you have in your kitchens that are attached by a dispenser. There's a couple different ones on the market, so you want to make sure if you're using those to check with their safety data sheets on how to use their chemicals. So in this case, I would like to start by talking about our rags. Most of our rags do need to be cleaned before operation. If you have a laundering machine in your building, you are lucky. Make sure that they are put in there, not with mop heads or anything else, but just your kitchen rags, because we use these to clean up our food preparation surfaces. Now, as far as the buckets, we have a couple different colors. You may have some white ones in your kitchens as well, but the most common ones you're going to see are detergent and sanitizer buckets. They are labeled saying sanitizer or detergent for the purpose of helping distinguish when you're doing cleanup. We're going to start with the detergent bucket today. With the detergent bucket, you're going to fill this with some warm and/or pretty hot water. Why? It's more comfortable for your hands. And also, when you add the soap in there, it helps retain some of the bubbles. Now, as you use your sanitizer or detergent throughout the day, when these buckets get dirty, have food debris in them, or just don't look right, you're going to want to start over. The other thing is when we talk about sanitizer in a little bit, if you have that food debris in there, it actually dilutes the concentration of the chemicals. In this case, we're using some normal dish soap for our detergent. But in many locations, you're probably going to have a spigot in the kitchen that is plumbed up with your detergent of choice. Anytime you take this detergent out of its container and put it into a squeeze bottle or anything else, you're going to make sure that you have the label and information on it. It's part of the chemical safety. You want to make sure that nobody gets an allergy or has it inappropriately sprayed on them. It can hurt if it's in your eyes. So in this case, we do have our soapy water that is sitting here, and we actually have one of those fine cleaning rags in here. Anytime your cleaning rag is wet, you need to soak it in the solution. So you can keep these buckets out in your kitchen with this water ready to go first thing in the morning. Put a rag in it, a clean rag, and let it stay in the water. Rags that are left out on the table, even the ones that are folded nicely, can harbor bacteria. So if you have a wet rag, you want to make sure it's in the solution. This could be a finding from your local health organization. So you want to make sure these rags are kept in the solution for premium safety. When you're cleaning or sanitizing, this detergent is meant to remove debris or food from your work surface, tables, walls, whatever you're cleaning. So when you grab these buckets, you can use it to wipe down stationary equipment. You can use them for your food surfaces, which is what we're going to do right now. This table here would be called a food contact surface, meaning that when you're cleaning your kitchen, you not only want to use your detergent bucket to wipe it and clean it, but you also want to use your sanitizer to remove any bacteria and viruses. So we're going to start by briefly cleaning this part of the table. Your table will get wet. Stainless steel does have some splotchiness to it naturally, especially when water hits it. We're going to clean about half this table to kind of demonstrate how this works. Now, after this rag has been used, it is not dirty, there's no food debris on it. I can put it back in this detergent and reuse it for another table or location. If this table had been covered with food debris, such as chicken guts or vegetables or anything like that, I'm going to want to clean it, make sure the food is shaked off into the trash, and if the rag's dirty enough, I'm going to put it in my laundry bin. But if I can use it again, I can put it back into this water. Again, if the water is dirty and contaminated, start over. It's just water and a little soap. Now, in a commercial kitchen, while it is okay to use these rags to perhaps dry your hands, you do not want to go through and necessarily dry your tables with these cloths. When you dry a table with a cloth, which you might have done at home, it could look nice and remove that, but if any kind of water streaks, but as far as these rags are concerned in a commercial kitchen, they could be harboring bacteria. So when you wipe down with this rag to dry it up, you're in turn potentially getting more bacteria spread around your kitchen. So try and avoid that if you can. Again, if you do see someone doing that, just let them know. We need to save those rags for our solutions. Let it air dry. Mother Nature will take care of the rest. With the sanitizer, you have to make sure that it's at the right concentration, or else you potentially could have some issues on your hands. Unlike detergent, sanitizer is meant to reduce the growth of bacteria, pathogens, and microorganisms that exist in your kitchen. Besides good food safety practices and personal hygiene, this is one of the most effective ways to kill bacteria in your kitchen. You're going to want to, again, make sure you understand everything about your sanitizer that you're using. Most kitchens, again, have a dispenser that's going to list the concentrates and have been dialed in. If you're going to use bleach, such as I am today, you're going to make sure to read all your directions so that way you do not put too much bleach into the water, which could become a hazard in itself, a chemical hazard. I also recommend having test strips around. These test strips have a color coded on them that let you know how many parts per million this chemical has been diluted into the water. Without these strips, it's really hard to know. Never, ever put more chemical into the water to make it go higher, just to make it more concentrated. There's a bigger risk to your personal safety, your skin, your hands, as well as your customers, because if this splashes onto a food surface, you're more potential to get somebody sick. With bleach, again, you're gonna make sure it's right. Keep these also stored away from your buckets and water sources because these strips are really little, and if they fall into here, you'll lose them all in one day. When you're dipping the strip into your solution, it is really simple. You're gonna add your bleach to your water, and you take your strips and you dip them. And then you look at the color that they appear to. Once your sanitizer concentrate has been established and the water's all set to go, you can treat it very similar to your detergent. You can take your rags and you can use them to sanitize, and again, you want to store them in your sanitizer. Most sanitizer concentrates are actually supposed to be kept rather cool, around 80 degrees, which is going to feel a little tepid, not so warm to your skin. That is okay. It's preferred and it's easier to read on a test strip. Again, for proper use of the sanitizer on a food contact surface is you're going to take the rag that has been immersed in the sanitizer and you are then going to use it to wipe down your food contact surface. The difference between the sanitizer and the detergent is that the sanitizer is removing those pathogens and viruses and the detergent is removing the dirt and the grime. So you're going to want to use both of them on the food contact surface. Again, we're going to let this air dry, and this wet rag, if it's still clean and the detergent or sanitizer is at the right concentrate, you can leave it right in there. Let your surface dry and you're ready to prep some food on this surface. Now, when it comes to your lunchroom, you have cafeteria tables. Those are not considered food contact surfaces, meaning you can use your detergent to clean and remove debris from the tables. I would also advise in an elementary school or otherwise, pre-K setting, have a couple of these buckets because you might want to use a different rag for the seating area versus the tabletops. Make sure whoever's wiping the table, no matter if they're kids or adults, that you train them on the proper techniques and encourage them to change the water and the rags on a regular basis. And remember, air drying is your friend.